What's up, everybody? It is me, Quincy Moran, and this is the first episode, as promised, of the Red and White. Right after this, I'm going to come back. Myself and Emili will give introductions, and we'll get right into it. We'll be back right after this. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, Quincy Moran, one part of the host party here for the Red and White. It is an alumni podcast for the Oak Grove High School Tigers in Oak Grove, Alabama. I'd like to welcome my co-host, one Emili Grooms, Maulding. Emili, welcome into the show.
First of all,
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at. You know, before we get started, we're started officially, but what are your thoughts on, there's a lot going on about Kirby, dancing on the table in Auburn. Any thoughts on that before we kick this thing off?
Look, it's no secret that I hate Auburn with like everything in me.
Yes, at a cellular level. Was it?
Ooh, that was terrible. And Kirby's I think he's ruined himself. I don't know if he can come back from some of that from last night. Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I didn't even get to watch the game because I had other things going on. And I just saw a few times that it was pretty close. And matter of fact, that they were behind. And before you know it, somehow, some way, Georgia wins. I'm not even sure.
There was like some weird, there was like a minute and something left until halftime, and it wound up taking like 30 minutes. There were like 100 penalties. It just went really wild. I don't know.
Yeah, strange things happen down in Auburn, and it's just an odd situation there. But, one thing I can say is that the Alabama game, it looked like Alabama was just going to take off like a rocket ship. And one of the thrusters must have died out because it got pretty close. But all credit to Mizzou. They really put up a good fight, and it was close. It was a nail biter.
I've got tickets to the Tennessee game, and I saw today it's supposed to rain and storm and all the things. So that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, we have tickets to the Oklahoma game, and boy, I hope there's a lot of retribution because I work in Oklahoma, as a part of my 9-to-5 job. And boy, I really heard about it a lot. And
I'm sure
it was a rough situation. Well, let's kick this thing off.
Let's go.
I really appreciate you, agreeing to be my co-host, and look forward to this Where Are They Now podcast. And if you're brand new, you're joining in, or I haven't done an effective job at communicating, what I would love to do with this podcast is, number one, love my high school, love Oak Grove, love my friends. And as time goes on, what happens? You go out, you start living life, and there's a bunch of distance in life that has gone on. And so I thought about, 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, heck, man, why don't we try to get something started where we can connect and find out where everybody is now? And so at that time, one of the funniest people on Facebook, still to this day she is, Emili, is out there just cracking heads. It's hilarious. And I was like, hey, you want to try this out? And it just wasn't the right time. But here we are, and I've done a lot more podcasting, have a little bit more technology, and so it's made it really easy. She's even been on our Bama Sports podcast, which is awesome. And so, I'm looking forward to getting to see the class of 96, our student council, And then taking it beyond there once we get, through the volunteers, in the class of 96, and then maybe, talking to some other people in 95 and, 97, 98, et cetera. And just, bringing the alumni here to talk on a platform and say where they are. What do you think?
I am a super appreciative that you asked me to do this with you. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to get to see a lot of people that I don't, normally see. I stay in my little neck of the woods here in Parrish. Um, I know that today when I looked through some of those photos to give to you, I pulled out some senior books and my memory book and all this, and got a little bit of hurt feelings about some of these.
In what way?
I just am not sure how fast it all happened.
That is the truth. That is the truth. We'll probably, as we get through some of the questions, we'll probably, talk about some of those things, because this episode will be our turn to talk about, the questions and, the everybody getting to know a little bit more about us. But you're right. There's a lot of life that has just gone on over the past almost 30 years. Because we figured that out when we did this, the pre-meeting, that next year is 2026.
And I had never thought about it like that. That was really strange to me when that was pointed out. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's like I have this magic number of 50 just kind of looming over my head that it's coming.
Yeah, that's right. It's getting close. And what's crazy?
I thought when I was 30, I was upset about that because, I'm grown now,
Yeah.
And then 40 just didn't seem, too eventful, but 50 it's out there.
I'm telling you, the older I get, the younger, 60 and 70 look, because I'm going, holy cow. I don't know if you're supposed to feel a certain way, but I don't feel 47. I guess I don't know what that's supposed to feel like, but just like you, I look back at my youngest child now is 18. My oldest child is 24. And I'm going, whoa, when did this all happen? It just goes by so fast. And one thing that one of our pastors out in California used to tell us, was like, time is a non-renewable currency. So you got to spend it wisely. And I've spent plenty of time doing dumb things, but sort of starting to get things figured out about what is important. And it's definitely the people that, my wife and I raised under the proverbial roof. And
Absolutely.
It's about family, and then friends, like, timeless friendships that, of course, you can't keep up with everybody. But when you do get a chance to get together, it'll be great to see, what do we look like? Because, it's like, well, we know what we looked like in high school. What do we look like now? And what are our personalities like? And what are the things that we like? And, do we have families and, things of that nature? So I'm really excited to see that part. And I think I'd heard, maybe it was Adam Sandler or maybe it was Joe Rogan or somebody talking about getting together for their class reunion. And it's like, the guys are shaking hands going, yeah, I went bald too, which I am under this hat. But, it's just it's a part of life. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun for us to get our friends together and talk about what's gone on over the past 30 years, and then give other alumni, in other classes the opportunity to do it. And then hopefully, get some teachers on here, which would be epic. And just really have a lot of fun with it. So with that, I figure, why don't we go ahead and start with the first question?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right. So, Miss Emily, I'll defer to you. You can ask me the question, and then I will ask you.
What state do you live in now?
That's a good question, because after we graduated, and then after my freshman year of college at Shelton State, I moved to California and actually lived there for like 25 years of my life. And then in 2022, my family and I moved to the great state of Texas. So we live in Fort Worth, Texas now. And I heard you mention your city, but what state do you live in?
I'm still Sweet Home, Alabama. I live in tiny little Parrish, but it's not really that far from Oak Grove. I still go see some friends from there. So
Oh,
maybe 30 minutes down, 25, 30 minutes down the road from where I, grew up. So
I got to tell you, I love that. I love that for you. And I'll travel, like I say, I travel in Texas, I travel in Oklahoma, Northwest Arkansas for work, etc. And it's so fascinating for me, for people much like yourself that really know one generalized area to call home. Like I don't have that, and so it's like I love the idea of that because everybody knows everybody, and that could be a good and a bad thing. But um, it's something that's unique to me because I have, when I was younger, traveled back and forth between Alabama and California, and then decided to do um, like ninth grade and on at Oak Grove out there, in Alabama with my dad. So it's really it's just fascinating to me, to grow up somewhere like that. So kudos to you. So you said Parrish is like 30 minutes from where you
around
grew
30
up or
minutes
so?
from Oak Grove.
Okay.
Yeah, you
That's
just
great.
go down 269 and just hit off there past Pumpkin Center. It's like I say, I go see several people that I go through there a lot, so it sure doesn't look the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Um, every time my wife and I and my family, every time we go to Alabama to visit, it's very hard not to want to just move there. And there's two places that we truly, truly love outside of Texas. One is Idaho and one is Alabama. And I look at Idaho like the perfect mixture of California and Alabama without, the looming natural disasters. There's like a volcano, I think, there that could blow up and, but otherwise, no humidity. So it's really nice in the summer. You get all four seasons, and they love hunting, they love fishing, they love football. It's not Alabama football, but it's pretty cool. So
We love to travel. I mean, we go tons of different places, but it's just this is home to me, I guess.
yeah, yeah, and what a great place to be home. When we go out for the Bama OU game, going to get to see my little sister. She lives over near Centerville now, where my dad pastors a church in West Blockton. So we're excited to go see them, and it's gorgeous. There's something just wonderful about the state of Alabama, truly. All except for that like southeastern part, like down, towards Auburn. All right, question number 2. I'll take the lead on this one. I know the answer, but for everybody else, are you married?
I'm married to the Craig.
Married to the Craig.
23 years, I think. Pretty
Very
sure.
nice.
02. Yes, that would be 23.
Yep.
Um,
And how did you? There you go. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I met him at a bar, Quincy.
Okay. Okay.
Who says you can't find love in a bar?
Well, they can't say it anymore.
And it was a little trash bar in Jasper too, and we just kind of met there through a mutual friend and been together ever since.
That's really cool. Was it
no romantic love story or anything like that?
Well, I would ask this: if you met through some friends, was it a blind date setup or how did that go?
Sort of, kinda. I think he was with some mutual friends of mine and saw me and just kind of, made mention, and then it was just so easy. We never even discussed like what our relationship even was.
Is that right?
Never.
That is
we
awesome.
We just got married and had Abby, and here we are.
I mean, that's an anomaly in this world, I would say. So congratulations to you. 23 big ones.
That's a lot.
That is excellent. It is. It is. And is he from the same general area?
He has been in Parrish his entire life.
Oh, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is so good.
He's almost 50 years. He's never lived anywhere but here. Well, he lived in Jasper for a little bit, but so we both just kind of hanging around Walker County.
Walker County. Well, it's working. It's working in Walker County, so why not?
It seems to be.
Got a beautiful family, so life is good.
It is.
You got it. So for me,
I was about to say it's got to be close to the same number of years.
It is. It is, as a matter of fact. Um, Definitely married, and interesting how I met my spouse. We've been married. We got married in 1999, so in November it'll be 26 years for us. And interestingly enough, I met my spouse, my wife Jeannie, babysitting. My friend had a yeah, my friend had a lot of kids and he needed a babysitter, and I'm just the kind of guy that's like, yeah, I'll help. It's all good. And I think he had two in diapers at the time and a total of five kids. And so I got there and I was out of my element, like not 19 years old. I don't really know much about changing diapers. I made my way through and, I was like, hey, dude, I'm going to need some help with the little ones. I'm cool to watch the kids, but I'm going to need some help. And so he's like, hey, I want to introduce you to this girl named Jeannie. She actually used to work where you work at US Rentals. I was like, cool. So he showed me a 3x5 card and I was like, I have no idea who this girl is, but on paper, she's hot because it was like prayer, Bible study, college, Bible study. I'm like, whoa, this is my kind of chick. So I was so nervous to meet her that I brought a couple of friends with me to babysit. And she got there and she's pretty astute. She's like, thinks to herself, why am I even here? He's got some friends to help him. And so I went in with one of the kids on my back so I could just kind of ease my own nerves. And the first time I saw her, I was instantly mad. I was just as mad as could be. And I thought to myself, she's an 11 out of 10, looks like a supermodel. And I walk in the kitchen, I'm packing like, at the time I'm like 315 pounds, just a very jolly, large man. And I go, I've got no chance with this lady. And the funny thing is that just disarmed the whole night. And so we sat, we laughed, we had a great time. And little did I know, her boyfriend on the way over, she was supposed to go on a date that night. And she was just coming to take care of the kids in diapers. Her boyfriend said, hey, I want to go on a break. So it's just weird how it worked out. And we were peas and carrots since the day we met. She said, hey, can I get your number? And I was like, well, yes, you can. I'd be happy to give it to you. So pretty neat. The other weird thing is that where I worked at the time, her last day was my first day, but she called out sick from Las Vegas because she didn't come to work. And funny enough, I took her phone call for her last day, but I had never met her. And so somehow they hired me to replace her. And then somehow I ended up marrying her, which is really a trip.
Seemed like it all just lined up perfectly.
It sure did. Somebody was working on our behalf. All right. Question number 3.
Well, we know you have how many kids, Quincy?
It is 8.
I was thinking it was 6. It's 8.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is 8 children. And I put in there just in case some of our alum don't have kids. When we moved out to Texas, we brought all 8 kids, obviously. And then we had 4 dogs as well. So we brought them, across to
the Clampets
to Texas.
Coming across.
That was us. We were definitely the Beverly Hillbillies, just going the opposite direction. So I have 1 boy and I have 7 girls. And then I have a set of triplets and a set of twins. And that's why they're all so close together in age.
Just wild. That is so much estrogen in a house for you. I'm so sorry.
It is. And you know what? I thought, I'm not going to say this because, there's nothing I can do to change it. I thought I wanted a house full of boys, but it has been the joy of my life to raise girls. And I got to tell you, my papa Moran out in Niger, where I did my growing up in Alabama, he said, if you treat your daughters right, they will take care of you the rest of your life. And I said, well, I'm going to give that a go. And so, that's kind of my mentality. I'm a very tough love dad. You know, high standards, want to challenge you to be your best, but my girls, man, I'm spoiled rotten. So it proved to definitely be a truth that he taught me. So for you, I know you have a child. Let's hear about your life.
I just have the one. She's 22. She's a charge nurse out here at the hospital in Jasper. Um, Honestly, she's never given me or her dad 1 minute's problem. Like, she's not perfect, clearly, but I mean, she's a really good girl. She's engaged. I don't know, when they're going to get married soon. I don't think it's like right now per se, but because the housing market, they're trying to find somewhere to live, and that's terrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait.
Have one of your AirPods jump out?
Something happened. No, it's like I couldn't hear out of them for a second, and then I tried to fix it, and then it fell out. So we have her, and we have a super odd collection of dogs.
Was that one in the background just a minute ago?
No, that was probably one of Craig's bears, a bear rug on the wall. My house looks like a taxidermy studio. Craig just kills animals and they hang everywhere. We're going to have to get like a bigger house just to house all the critters that's in here.
I love it.
We have Cecil, who is a black and tan hound. He showed up here a couple years ago, starved to death. It's like an old pawpaw dog. We don't know if he got lost maybe on a hunt with someone. This dog never even knew how to let you pet him. I don't think he had ever. I think he was a working dog. He may have done his hunting and that was it. They never showed him any affection or anything. So we have him. We found out he's like 8 to 10 years old. So he's just an old porch dog that lays out here. and then our other dog is Fiona. She's another one that just kind of showed up here. I got a big heart. So, and actually my neighbor's dog, pretty much a golden, it lives here too. So apparently I'm like Snow White is what they say.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Within like a 5-mile radius just wants to come live here. They're like, hey, this chick's cool. She feeds us and pets us. So let's go.
That's where the love is. That's where the love is. And that I do see, from time to time when the algorithm puts, your stuff on my feed, I do see that, the dogs, they sleep in, various places, I guess, and they just pretty neat to follow those dogs and what they do. And
the coonhound, people have begged me to put like a GoPro on him, like he could have his own TikTok. I would just love to know where he goes.
Oh, so he's a traveling man and then comes back, huh?
Well, he's scared of storms just all of a sudden. So finally he's kind of gotten better about it, but we had to put a collar with his name. I mean, he got as far as like 2 or 3 miles down the road one time.
Holy cow.
So he's just an odd guy. And when it's not storming or anything, these 2 dogs are the most worthless creatures that God has ever put on the planet. They sleep all day. That's all they do.
Hey, I mean, that is kind of the life of a dog, I think.
I almost forgot. We also have an inside cat too that belongs to Abby. And she runs the house. Everyone just does whatever the cat says. It is literally like the memes that you see of cats. It's her house. We just live here.
Holy cow. What's the cat's name?
Cleo, Kiki, Toot Mama, Tootie Mama. I mean, like thousands.
Oh, that's good, man. I tell you, I was never, ever a cat guy. And one of my daughters moved away, and then she needed to move back. And she had picked up a cat. Oddly enough, my cousin out in Arkansas had a litter of, is it litter? Litter of cats?
Yes.
And so she went by and picked this guy up, and then, her situation didn't work out. And so she ended up moving home, and I said, okay, I'll let you bring this cat. And I don't know what happened to me, but I'm admitting live, on this broadcast that this cat won me over. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. And, and I think at this phase of my life, Cats are just very, very low maintenance. So it works out.
That's what Craig loves about this one too. He's like, she doesn't require anything. He forgets that she's here sometimes. So
Yeah. Yeah. The weirdest thing is that while you're trying to sleep, the cat is curious. So at least our cat, Edwin, he's climbing on top of shelves and knocking things down. And I mean, you can always tell where the cat has been at night because things are a mess on the floor that don't belong on the floor.
thankfully, ours is like 10 years old. So she's kind of out of all that. She's just in her princess era. She just sleeps. Every animal we have looks like they've been given sedatives. They all just.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, let's take a look at number 4. And this one is, oddly enough, this one is hard for me. So I'm going to lean on you to talk me through it because I'm trying to think. Maybe I've got some mental blockage going on. I'm trying to think about songs. So what song instantly takes you back?
I had to Google some of this today because I was thinking of some songs and they were kind of like a few years before or maybe a few years after.
Yeah.
But I remember big Alanis Morissette stuff going on. You Ought to Know.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Yep.
I was thinking about the presidents of the United States, the Lump and the Peaches.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I was always weird. I'm still this same girl. Back in that day, I was listening to like Bob Seger and the Eagles and stuff like that. I was a little bit, in tune with like modern music, but I've just always been kind of that classic rock gal. I'm still there.
That's your dig is classic rock?
It just always has been.
That's cool. I've never really been much, of course, Leonard Skinner, some of that, but I was always into country, into rap, some R&B, kind of everything. I did, I guess, listen to, some, what do they call it? Hair metal, listen to a little bit of everything. And, the songs that I thought about that brought me back, when I played on the baseball team, we would go to another, like an away game, and we would go in there just cranking, Hank Williams Jr., especially, Keith Jones. Just, it was Hank Williams Jr., loud and proud. And so they probably looked at us like we were the hillbilly school, which, hey, that's okay. But those are some of the things. Yeah, that's fair. It's so funny because we went to, I think, Hoover High School after it was built. We went to a wrestling tournament. And I think on our I don't know, like our zip ups had something like Oak Tree or something like that, and nobody could figure out where we were from. Like, even when we told them, they're like, "What? You're from what? Oak what?" And I'm like, "Are we just that far off the beaten path? I don't know." But it was just one of those funny memories that people couldn't figure out what Oak Grove was. When we went to those bigger wrestling tournaments, I thought it was pretty funny. All right. I guess for me, obviously Hank Williams, but I was a big Eye of the Tiger fan, especially during football season, because it got me fired up to play football. So that one I was it. But that's nowhere near the 90s. At least nowhere near 96. That's much, much earlier.
Well, see, I was thinking of like, I loved alternative stuff. So I was like thinking about like Nirvana and Candlebox and things like that, which I was still listening to as a senior, but those weren't like actual senior year stuff.
Yeah. And I thought about going to look at what songs were, in that era, like, in our graduating year, 95, 96, but I just never made it. But I think you brought up some good stuff. Definitely. I just probably 2 weeks ago played some of that Alanis Morissette for my daughter, which she's a big music buff, and she didn't know who she was in the Offset. But then when I started to play it, she was like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is." What was your go-to outfit or fashion trend back in the day?
I honestly don't think my fashion trend has ever changed. Like just t-shirt and jeans or sweatshirt and jeans, or I've just never been a real big like dress up, put on heels and do all the things. more like for comfort, I guess. And I'm kind of still the same way. I mean, I can get dressed up, but I do remember I had a good flannel shirt era going on there for a little bit.
Did you now? Okay,
I
that's
did.
good. Yeah, I look back at some of the things I wore and I thought, how did, why did you go out of the house that way, Quincy? And one thing that I wore, my mother bought me this long sleeve. It was like a brown long sleeve button up shirt, and it had leaves all over it. I mean, on its own with a pair of jeans, it was a cool looking shirt. But I would wear that shirt with green corduroy pants,
And
and
it seems like I remember that, and I'm being completely serious.
yeah, and I'm going. I look back and I go, why did I do that? But I don't really have another sense of fashion now. I mean, a lot of t-shirts and jeans for me, and for work I have to wear, a polo or a button up or whatever. But I wanted to have great fashion, and I look at some of the people out there that have great fashion, and tennis shoes that match their glasses, and just all a lot of cool things like that. And I'm like, man, I wish I could do that, but I just really have no fashion sense, so it didn't
Me too.
work out for me.
I've always wanted to be like really girly and feminine, and that's not me. It can
Yep.
be, when needed, but
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always been sort of a guy's girl. So
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure as we go through this, there are some of our classmates that may be, on the top end of fashion, and maybe they'll teach us a little something. Not that I'm going to
hopefully.
change, but I'd like to know. All right, let's take a look at this one. You can go ahead and take the lead on this one if it's all good with you.
This goes back to what I said earlier. I probably would have went to college. I still can't believe I didn't, but that's another story for another day. But I guess just man, just slow down. Just stop for a minute. The things that give us joy now, like sitting outside drinking coffee or watching my hummingbirds, or it's like life is just kind of slowed down, and I feel like maybe I didn't take enough time to appreciate it as it was passing by.
Yeah, I think that's very wise. In advice that I would have loved to have gotten in high school, but I probably would not have listened to it because I have
wouldn't
always.
have either.
I learned some stuff, and not to get too deep, but there were some things like, if I could go back now and talk to the Quincy of 18 years old, the best advice I could probably give, maybe it's twofold, but number one, it's okay to figure out who you are. Take some time to do that. But the other one would be, and it's probably too serious for an alumni podcast, but it would be aware of what lies you might be living with that aren't actually true. And I say that because for a long time, I, for some reason, somehow took responsibility, like for my parents getting divorced. I was 5 years old and had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. I made it about me, and it really caused some challenges for me as I was growing up. And so if I could go back and say, hey, man, everything's not about you. So it's probably better if you don't think that it is, and just go out and live your life and be thankful for every day you have. And when I identified that, I was like, wow, how did I make that about me? And where are some of these other things in life that I may have done the same? And so that was a real, I don't know if I'd say liberating moment, but that was a moment that really helped me breathe a little bit easier, because it's something I had nothing to do with.
It's so funny because we're the opposites. I kind of wish that I would have made things more about me. My struggles with my mom and dad and all those things, I thought I could fix. I'm a people pleaser. I want to fix everybody's problems and do all the things for everybody. It's not possible.
It's not
you
possible.
Can't do it.
That's right. And so it's funny because I think we both walk that path of, people pleasing, because of circumstances in our life that were outside of our control. But the truth is, if I look back at it, I wouldn't be able to help some of the people that I help now if I hadn't walked in that pair of shoes. And so, I definitely give myself that advice, but I tell you what, I was very, very hard headed when I was young. And it's kind of a trait in the Moran men to be hard headed. And I've learned a lot. Maybe it's raising daughters that's helped me iron out those wrinkles. Maybe that's the case.
It's funny what you said earlier, though, because my husband, he's a great girl dad. She hunts with him and does all the things. So
that is so good.
I told him one day, I said it wouldn't have been any better, any different had you had a boy. She goes and does all the things.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And eventually, I will get some sons out of the deal when these girls, get married, and they 3 of them right now have boyfriends, and I'm like, hey man, this is pretty cool. I don't have to do the raising side, but I can be on the, the other side and influence and hopefully get a lot of work done around my house like my father-in-law had me do. So I'm going to have a brood of guys to get some things done for me, which I'm pretty excited about.
An army, actually.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, let's look at this one. It's a little bit lighter. Maybe I should have, maybe I could have talked about something different, but hey, I figured might as well be honest. Number 7, what kind of car did you drive to school?
Oh boy. My first car was a 1987 2-door Pontiac Grand Am. 5-speed.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I love it.
Had the worst clutch in the world. Somehow I drove it like a pro. I went on like my next 2 or 3 cars after that were a 5-speed too. I don't know why. I don't know if I just liked it at the time. I'm pretty sure I could still get in there and go now. I probably could drive like a Mack truck.
You probably could. That's a great trait to have because it's sort of like riding a bicycle, I think. Once you've learned it.
Yeah, I don't think you ever forget.
Might heat that clutch up a little bit. So my first car was a 1973 Chrysler Newport, and it did not last long. It took my dad a while to get that running, which he gave me that car. And then the one that I drove to school the most was a 1980 Chevy Malibu that my dad bought from my cousin David. And man, I love that car. I wished I wouldn't have screwed that car up. So it'd be a great car to have right now. It was such a nice car. It was like baby blue. I really, really dug that car. It was cool. What kind of car did you learn how to drive? Like, did you do driver's ed with Coach Ashcraft too? Was that your deal?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I thought so. And then did you learn how to drive in that car that you drove to school or? Okay.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, I drove like my mom. I don't remember what she had at the time. I want to say maybe she had like a Buick Regal or something. But when we got that little 5-speed car, the little Grand Am, I mean, that's what I took off in.
That's good.
It didn't take long at all for me to learn how to drive it.
My dad taught me because he would like preach, revivals, like tent revivals, long distances from the house. And he had gotten 1979, I think it was a Gremlin from my Uncle Grady. And I guess the linkage was put in backwards. So I don't know how that works or if I'm even telling the truth, but the gear shifting was off. And I don't know how my dad did this. I mean, true to life, I have no idea because I myself have taught several of my girls how to drive. But he got in the passenger seat, laid the seat back. It was a 5-speed, and he went to sleep while I drove. And maybe that's the only way that he could get through it because we were driving long distances, and I cannot imagine laying down to go to sleep while my 15-year-old was learning how to drive.
No way.
That is crazy.
Well, Abby was a really good driver, so I don't remember ever being like super nervous with her in the car.
That's great. These things for you
She was driving Miss Daisy by the time she was like 15. I was like, you're finna drive everywhere before you get turned loose in a car.
That's great.
So she
That's
chauffeured
great.
me for like a year.
That works. And yeah, there were some times when I was teaching my daughters how to drive that I fully embrace my Christianity and I live my life,
But Lord, we
but
slip sometimes.
I'll tell you this, I rededicated my life a couple of times teaching my girls how to drive because there was a time where one of the girls like just pulled out in a lane on like 45 mile an hour, highway. And had it not been 2 lanes, we probably wouldn't have made it to Christmas. It was that bad. And another time my daughter was driving us and I don't know what happened. She was supposed to make a right-hand turn and she hit the gas instead of the brake. And we did one of those Hollywood spins. Like we were heading for somebody's van. It was intense. So yeah, a little more lively over on this side of the computer. So good for you. I'm happy for you. All right. What was your favorite lunch? Yeah, we got so much to brag about. You know what I'm saying? What was your favorite lunch from the world's greatest high school cafeteria?
2 things. The first, and we still have them today, but they make them with like some kind of wheat or something. I don't know. The Crispitos, dude.
Tell me about those, the Crispitos.
It's like a little hard kind of tortilla shell that had like taco meat inside.
Oh yeah, like a taquito.
Oh boy. Yeah, I still think about those. And like I say, we have them. I sub at Oakland and we still have them there and they're good, but they're not the same. But my favorite lunch in the Oak Grove lunchroom was beef tips and rice, man.
Wasn't that so good?
That was so good. With a good little homemade peanut butter cup. I can't remember what the name was of the lady that made those in the lunchroom. Was it like Miss Bell or something? Am I imagine?
You might be right. They were all superstars. This may not be well known, but they would buy me hot sauce and store it in the back in the kitchen. And so when I'd go into lunch, I'd just walk into the kitchen, back where they were working, get my hot sauce and my Louisiana hot sauce and take it out and, put it back when I was done. They bought me, I don't know how they or why they did it, but they had a lot of favor for the old Q-man.
Because they loved us.
They did love us.
Look, hey, they put a lot of grandma's soul in them beef tips and rice.
They did. And so there's 2 things for me too, because I couldn't really just pick one. Number one, I was a sucker for the potato bar. I don't know what it was, but that potato bar was just epic for me. And I would load those potatoes up with chili and just about everything I could put on that plate and then go get my hot sauce. But I was a huge fan of the hamburger and French fry day because you could just talk about a mile high. You could pile as many French fries on your plate as you wanted to based on what I remember. And it was really good times and it was really good food. And they took really good care of us.
They did. Those lunches are fab. I know that it's like a state thing. It's not the school thing, but school lunches now
It must be much different,
huh? It's very small amounts. Like I know, I don't know, like growing boys, it just seems like that would not be nowhere near enough for them.
Yeah. That's
you got to do what the state tells you to do, but it's nothing like what it was, like you say, when we had it all piled up.
Man, it was awesome. And I look at other, like, some of the other, like out in California, they would have like a Taco Bell and things of that nature in there. And if I had my choice, I'd take our lunchroom over any of those restaurants or whatever they were. Yeah, it was good. I thought that would be a fun question to put in there. Can't wait to hear some of the answers. But that beef tips and rice, you ain't lying, girl. That was some count.
I wish I had a bowl right now.
All right. This question I put in today because I thought it would be fun. And I'll send out these questions to everybody else. But what character, assuming you've seen Friends, what character would you be on Friends?
No hesitation. I'm Monica.
Is that right?
150%. I'm a clean freak, all the things, OCD, anal, straight up Monica. Everybody tells me.
Is that right? That's funny.
Yes.
That is hilarious. That's great. Yeah, when I thought about it, I thought of myself as being the closest character would be Chandler, because I'm
So
definitely, yeah,
I agree.
I'm no Joey, but who could be? You know what I mean? And then Ross is just he's a man of his own. But
well, how funny is it that I thought all the years that I ever watched it that Chandler was the funniest, but when I see like reruns now, Ross was stinking hilarious. I don't know why we never realized how funny that he was.
yeah, I don't know, but you are correct. He is very funny. He's just much more emotional than Chandler was. So maybe we needed to get some life experience in us before we could look back and say, "Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
I
I
understand
would love to be Rachel, but no, I'm definitely Monica.
that." Oh, that's funny. I mean, it's that you answered that with such confidence, and then people around you say the same. That's pretty hilarious. All right. This one, if you have a funny memory, go ahead and bring it. If not, no big deal. I've got one. I've got more than one, and maybe every once in a while I'll bring another one out. But if you have one, you can tell yours, or I'll go ahead and tell mine.
Does this have to be like at school, or is this just?
No, not at all. You can make it about whatever you want. It's your answer.
Okay, so me and Terry Ann and Mark Salter decided to skip school one day. And my mom knew I was skipping, so, no biggie. But Terry Ann's mom did not know we were skipping school.
Oh, okay.
So we wound up in Hueytown, and we were at, like, I think it was Big B at the time. That was before it became CVS or something. So we're in there. I don't know what, I don't remember why. But we look around, we start to go down an aisle, and there is Terry Ann's mom.
Oh my gosh.
So everybody like just turns and runs back the other way. So Mark was not on the same aisle as us. So we could see his head bobbing over at the top of the aisle. We're like, get down. So we knew that her mom was off work. So we were like, oh my gosh, we've got to get back home right now. We've got to act like we've got off, So we come this little back road somewhere we turned off in Hueytown, and everybody that knows Terry Ann, she was a NASCAR driver in school. She used to scare me to death. I spent like most of our car rides with my eyes covered. There was like a little old man on a bicycle on the side of the road, and we literally zoomed so fast past him that it blew him over.
Oh my gosh.
We still talk about this.
Is that right?
Yes.
Holy cow. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was some good times.
Yeah. I wish I remembered more about my high school experience than I do. There's been a lot of life in between then and now. And every once in a while, some of the folks from back in the day, some of our friends will remind me of stuff that I flat out just don't remember for some reason. But that's pretty funny. What are the chances? What are the chances?
I mean, we were literally going to walk right into her mom.
That is so wild. And she couldn't take off so you guys could distract. I mean, your mom would know, but I don't think it could have worked out any better. That's pretty funny. I love that.
Yeah, we still talk about it.
It made that big of an impact. There's a couple of things that are hilarious to me. One of them, the one I'm going to talk about here, involves me, Jeff Colburn, and Coach Wilson. He was the wrestling coach at the time. And Jeff and I were really good friends in high school. And we're in practice, and I had him in a cradle. And that's just, your hands are locked. You got your arms around him, and he's got to be able to kick out of it. And he just kept trying to kick out of this cradle. He couldn't do it. And so Coach Wilson was going to show Jeff a technique that would allow him to kick out of this cradle. And so I wrapped my arms around him, and he tried to kick out, and he couldn't kick out of the cradle either. And I laughed at him. and he set me on fire. I mean, he got up and he laid into me, and Colburn was just looking at me like, "You're an idiot, dude." And I guess I really didn't think about it, but he was like, "You had your day in the sun, boy."
I can
just
hear
went
his
off.
voice right now.
Yes,
Oh, raspy, like he had a sore throat. I can hear that.
that's right. He lit into me, and it was all I could do. The worst thing I could have done was just laughed even more, which I really wanted to do, but I couldn't. And yeah, that is something that I will never ever forget, and it still cracks me up to this day. I don't even know if Jeff remembers that. I'll have to ask him if he does, but that was, gosh,
Well,
that was
Jeff is
fun.
actually another funny thing about Jeff too. Miss Strong.
Oh yeah.
Jeff kind of used to wear those tight jeans a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, Miss Strong would give it to him at that board about them jeans. Mr. Colburn.
His his goods from back there were admired by many based on what I remember. Yeah, Mr.
Oh,
Colburn.
she would embarrass him. She would embarrass all of us. I just remember thinking, like, just praying for her not to call me up to the board. Just anything, please.
Yeah, I was too dumb to go up to the board. Matter of fact, this is probably breaking news, and there's got to be no way for anybody to get in trouble. But in order to pass her class, I had to draw her something for one of those math functions, and so I ended up passing that class with I think like a D minus, thanks to my artistic skills. And I didn't even do that good of a job, just kind of looking back. So she just had mercy on me. Well, here we go. We're going to wrap it up with this last question. Which teacher or teachers made a positive impact on your life, and how? Any that you can think of? If you want me to go first, you let me know.
You go.
Okay. So there's a few, and Coach Wilson is actually, he definitely made a positive impact on my life. Aside from that moment we had together in the locker room when I wouldn't allow him to kick out of that cradle, but Coach Northcutt was one that I wish that Coach Northcutt could have taught me math at every single level, because he was able to dumb it down and make it easy enough for me in order to learn. But him, Miss Colley, Miss Early, those teachers right there, Mr. Mize, they really, really made a difference in my life. Just some excellent people. And Miss Early, I wasn't doing everything right in high school, and she was willing to say hard things to me, and to really give me some tough love.
She was
and
wonderful.
It's something that she made an eternal impact on my life. Mr. Mize, of course, Miss Colley, she was golden to me. I had no business being in like AP English, and I had to be in there because I wanted an art class, and I learned a lot from her. She let me entertain the class a little bit, and so that for me, I'm sure there are obviously more teachers, but those are the ones that are top of mind for me. And if you'd like to share, good. If not, we'll wrap this thing up.
Miss Early, clearly, I mean, she was wonderful, and Mr. Mize, but my man Senior, I love Senior Vines.
Yes, come on! How did I not say Senior Vines? Oh yeah, what a dude!
He was just one of the most positive little people. Like, I just loved his little quirky self.
You know what?
I just thought he was a good little dude.
So he was, and you know what's funny is he and my dad went to high school together in Hueytown, and they would box each other because back in the day, they had boxing and whatnot. And so he was a great hybrid of like a Groucho Marx and I don't know, some character. I can't even mesh the characters together, but he was a lot of fun. And, he would always give us the opportunity, at least in my class, he would give us the opportunity to get out of taking a test if you could beat him in push-ups. And I don't remember if anybody ever beat him. Of course, he always went, second, unless something happened different in your class. But yeah, what a neat dude. And Jonathan Snyder used to play some pranks on him that were pretty funny. And I did feel bad for him. And I'll tell you the pranks if you'd like to know.
Go ahead.
Okay. So he may not like me telling this, but it was too funny not to. So he would poke a hole in Senior Vine's coffee cup, because he'd had that thermos and that foam cup. And so he caught on. And so one day he would pour it and, and he had his thumb over it and he was like, I gotcha. So the next day there was like a decoy hole and then another hole. So he thought he had it, went to pour it in, and then it still poured out on him. And it was, I don't know. It was just hilarious to me, especially as a teenager. He's like,
I just thought he was always a good sport. He never just got really, really mad.
Yeah. I'm so thankful that you brought Senor Vines up. What a good dude. What a cool teacher. What a neat story.
Yeah, I just loved him for some reason. I just thought he was a cool little guy.
Yeah, most definitely. Man, that brought a lot of joy to my moment there. You're the bomb.com, dude. All right. That's all I got. Any other questions that I could have brought, or, any questions you want to add after this for, next week? Next week we have Mr. Brad Richardson coming up. So class president. Love the Brad. Absolutely. I think
you and Brad are literally two of like the best dudes I've ever known. So.
Oh my Lord, that is very nice of you to say. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, that is, well, I really appreciate that. You made me speechless there for a moment. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what Brad has to say. And, his dad was one of my favorite baseball coaches of all time. So.
And now he's getting to do the same thing.
That's right. You got to love that. All right, sis, we did it. There's episode 1 in the books. Yeah, really great to be on here with you. And I look forward to what we're going to do next. We'll have Brad, and then we'll have Linda and Cindy. And then after that, there's a few more that you had made mention of. Maybe we can have them on, and if they're game to do it, and we'll get this thing in full effect. But hey, season 1 has begun.
I enjoyed it.
So did I. Looking forward to the next one. I hope you have a great evening, and really appreciate you being a part of it.
Thank you so much for asking me.
You got it. We will see you soon. All right, folks. For Emili, Grooms, Maulding, I am Quincy, Moran. This is the Red and White Podcast, and we are so thankful that you checked it out. We will be here next week for episode 2 with our class president, Mr. Brad Richardson. Until then, God bless you and roll tide.